Hello, everybody, and welcome to NVC episode 458. I'm your host this week, Tom Marks, filling in for Casey DeVritas. Everyone is kind of out of town this week. Casey is gone. Brian is gone. Pear, up until last night, you were going to be gone.
Yep.
But we are joined
canceled
by Pear Schneider.
Tom.
Also joining us is Brendan Graber.
B-Team.
Oh, that's harsh.
That's me.
And the original A-Team, Sam Claiborne.
What was it? Welcome, Quidditch fans.
Yeah, it was What's Up, Quidditch fans?
What's up, Quidditch fans?
That should be my intro from now on.
Yeah.
It should.
I mean, I'll roll with it.
I don't even know what
fine with
Quidditch
that
is.
It's a silly thing to do
It's
that
a game where you throw cupcakes at goals.
took up a
Is
lot
it
of my
fun to
life.
play if you don't
Brooms.
fly?
The like actual version? Yeah, it's really.
The actual version.
I mean, I'm not going to get into this
The
here,
actual
but it is an
Muggle
intercollegiate
version.
sport, and it's very, very
Wait,
fun.
are you
Don't
like
leave,
a,
everybody. Don't leave.
Are you
We're
like a
gonna talk about
LARPer?
Nintendo games.
No.
Are you a LARPer?
Oh man, dude, the Quidditch community will fight you if you call them LARPers.
Oh,
I'll
I'm
tell you
sorry,
now.
Quidditch fans.
You made some powerful enemies.
So if it's not live action role play, what are the 4 words that it is?
Sport. It's a full contact co-ed collegiate.
So it's
sport.
last.
witches
live
lacrosse.
action sports. Play.
Yeah.
Full contact, non-magical sport.
Anyway, we don't have to get into that here. We got lots of Nintendo stuff to talk about this week. We're going to be talking about, first and foremost, Mario Kart Tour's beta, which just came out in Japan, and lots of juicy details came out of that. We're
We
also
weren't supposed to though.
not supposed to, but
Come
they did.
on. Of course.
I mean, they knew it was going to happen in some extent. We're also going to be talking just about, last week we talked about our kind of hopes and fears around Super Mario Maker 2, and the week before that we did predictions about what we thought we might see at E3. I want to dig into the things we know we're going to see at E3, or pretty sure we're going to see at E3 from Nintendo, that and kind of just what we want from them and what we're worried about for them, going into that sort of stuff. And then of course,
So
we've got
like
just
for
news
Luigi's
and
Mansion,
forward
like
plans.
fear, ghosts, hope, all the ghosts are sucked into a vacuum.
I mean, I think that's Luigi's fear and hope, yeah, but we'll see.
You don't share that?
I mean,
Do you want the ghosts to win?
I don't mind the ghosts. There was
Wow.
like a baby ghost.
Ghosts are universally
Right.
evil.
Those are-
Every
those are
single
very good.
ghost is evil.
Wow,
Every ghost.
that's harsh.
I-
But there's a ghost that's your friend in one of the Paper Mario games, right?
Yeah.
That ghost is also evil. Doesn't matter who
What
he's
about-
fooled.
Just had a change of
What
heart.
about the ghost puppy?
Ghost Puppy is, I guess, technically also evil.
No,
I think
we
it's
catch it?
I
I
think it's chaotic neutral.
Sam's
Okay,
wrong.
okay.
They're good ghosts.
Anyway,
Big ghost has gotten to Pear Schneider. All ghosts are evil.
big ghost. Is that
He's
just
been
the King Boo at the
compromised.
end? Big ghost.
Yes, Big Boo.
Yeah. Let's talk though first, starting out with news of the Mario Kart Tour beta, which is what we just mentioned. So the beta invites did go out for Android to a limited number of invitees in Japan only, and this was, I guess, Tuesday night they started rolling out. So people have started playing the game, and although there's some sort of cryptic NDA, we're not entirely sure what the full details of what people can and can't show. A lot of information is coming out now, including some gameplay that Nintendo has started taking down, gameplay and screenshots already, but once those things
Like
are out on the internet,
no
they're out
press
there.
outlets are putting this stuff up.
Yeah,
Right.
It's
it's
like
just-
single people.
A big
just
thread,
are playing it, right?
yeah, a big thread on Reset Era is just collating all of this data pretty much and gathering all of this info. A couple of things really fast just to talk about. It's played, that we learned really quick today, was it's played in portrait mode.
Which is vertical,
Yes.
which is very different from most racing games or the orientation of your eyes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
You don't drive forward. The game automatically drives you forward, and all you do is steer. And then beyond that, it kind of looks like Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
And then we'll get
And then
into
you
this.
tap to throw stuff.
I think it's
tap
more
to
Mario
throw
Kart
stuff.
7 than 8
Right.
because there's no
right.
anti-grav.
Okay, that's fair.
And
that's fair.
by the way, you steer. You can use tilt controls. I'm using tilt controls. Or you can drag your finger. You have like an arrow display on your screen. So you
Somehow
can do
you
Right.
power
2 modes.
slide.
Yep.
You don't.
So yeah, I was
grinding,
looking
there's
at
jumps,
that. I
yeah.
think you can either there's an option for like manual power sliding.
Yep.
If you hold when you're turning, if you hold that turn, you start power sliding.
Yeah, it's like it looks like if the arrow maintains the exact arc for like a certain amount of seconds, you start the slides. So you
Yeah.
can kind of visually see.
Yeah.
And then there's baby mode if you don't want to bother with sliding.
Well, that is
but
the baby mode. Is that what you're saying?
No,
No, I think
no.
there's-
The manual mode is that.
Is what we're talking about? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. I mean, it seems interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The vertical doesn't bother me too much because you can see ahead of you pretty clearly because the graphics look freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's like it doesn't look like it's. I don't think side to side is super important in Mario.
No, but they'll design the courses to not be so curvy because of that,
Well,
right?
I don't
they'll-
think they will because every course we've seen is from a previous game already.
Yeah, but
So
you're not
far.
going to get
But
a
maybe they
ghost
widened
house
them or
with
something. That's a good
corners
point.
like that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I was looking at some footage, and in addition to the courses, there's also some kind of like other modes where it's like it's Luigi's Mansion, the racetrack, but you have to avoid a bunch of hazards.
Right.
So there's no other racers. And I was watching the guy play, and you can't really see the piranha plants on the side of your vision. So if it's in a wide open area, it's kind of hard to see these hazards before you run into them. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if vertical was the best choice. In some parts, yeah, I could see it when there's a straightaway and you want to see like what's on the road. But there are some things when there are people to the side of you that you don't see coming until it's too late.
And one
Guys,
thing,
Zach Rand is texting me right now. You want me to tell him anything?
Tell him
Did
to
he
pick up
know?
his stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
He left a bunch of Pikachus
Clean
here.
up your desk. You're supposed to say that before you fire
That's
somebody.
right, yeah.
He didn't get fired, so
Pick
we
up
weren't
bunch.
able to say that. Now his desk is just not cleaned up.
That's right.
if someone leaves amicably, it's
Yeah.
more of a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
One thing that we should couch this whole conversation about Mario Kart Tour in is it is a beta. We don't know how much is going to change. We haven't played it ourselves, right? There's a lot that potentially, if the feedback is, hey, we don't like these things, hey, let's play in this mode, maybe they'll make changes. We don't have a sense of
Well,
when it comes out, right?
I mean, I
Speaking-
think the things that people are not going to like is what you were going to say.
Yeah.
Microtransactions.
Yes.
So I want to read a quote real quick. A guy named Sircon Toto, I think I'm pronouncing that right, from Kanton Games, which is an industry
He's a
consultant
good man.
in Japan, tweeted out, and this is his quote, "Looks like Mario Kart Tour beta is pretty hardcore with regards to monetization. Multi-level gacha for drivers, karts, and gliders. Rare drivers have advantages during
SMH.
races. Stamina system limits races available on hourly basis." And then he says, subject to change, this is a beta. That sounds like
I hate the
almost the
stamina
worst
crap.
case scenario in
Well,
terms of
I think
monetization.
everybody was hoping for more of a Mario Run approach for this one, as
Right.
at least core gamers who are used to buying their games and just playing them uninterrupted. But it is a no. Now you can't play this game
Yeah.
unless you pay.
Illegal in
right?
Belgium.
Illegal in
Right.
Belgium.
Yeah, it's
because
not going to show
the
up in Belgium. Sorry, Belgium fans.
loot boxes
Should
yeah.
be illegal everywhere.
It's very interesting that they went this route, and especially the thing that concerns me, and we don't know the extent of this quite yet, or at least not while recording this, of what are those advantages? There were
Yeah.
people talking about how, like, if you use Toadette on the Toad Circuit course, you can
Yeah.
carry more items. Or
So I
something
did
like
look
that.
into this a little bit.
Yeah,
and
Some characters just have that, right?
yeah, there's an inherent advantage to characters depending on what level it is. So I noticed, like in the the Super Nintendo Choco Planes or whatever that one was called, if you had Toadette or Metal Mario, they would be able to carry 3 items at a time. And if you were playing Luigi, you only get 1 item at a time. However, if you go to the Luigi's Mansion course, Luigi gets 3 items at a time, and it's like reversed. So I don't know if the rarity of the character means that more courses favor them as opposed to other characters,
Or
or
do you just get to switch characters so much that you're always going to have an advantage by course?
it seems like you can change character by course. So I don't think you're locked in like you are for Mario Kart
Well, that's
7
your
or 8.
answer then, right? It's like if you have every character, then you're going to be better than other people.
Yeah. And so
Yep.
if you're,
And if they're all coming out of a gotcha ball, then you're going to have to work a long time to get all the characters.
and the problem with this triple gacha pull is in like Fire Emblem Heroes, you roll for a hero. In this game, you can roll, but you'll either get a character, a cart, or a glider. You don't get to choose which one.
But, and we don't know, do we know the extent yet of what some of these things change? Like, is a glider just cosmetic?
So I actually have some of this info. The glider changes. It can give you an item at the start, like a mushroom, and it can also influence which items you're likely to find when you go over an item block.
Interesting.
And then the carts will
Just
give
like
you.
a glider in real life.
Yes.
And then the carts will change. They'll increase the boost of a certain type of boost. So some will increase the rocket boost at the start. Some will increase the rocket boost you get from doing a slide, or some will from like the speed boost, like the ramps. So depending on which course you're going to, if you know this course has a lot more of this type of speed up, you can then make sure that you have the best cart possible.
That's interesting.
So
I think
I wouldn't call that pay to win, but it's pay to have more options.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other part of this is that there's no microtransactions of like buying stuff in the beta yet. So we don't know how this is going to be monetized beyond this gacha system. It could be that you just buy the game and you are subjected to the gacha stuff without money. I doubt that's the case.
I'm
but-
assuming
Good
that
point, Tom. That, like we actually don't know that at this point.
Yeah.
because right now
It could be just be an annoying system, but not an annoying system that preys on people that are prone to gambling,
Right.
or
Exactly.
people that are that are targeted by these apps.
And that's a very different thing, right? Like the loot boxes inherently, I don't think are problems if they're used creatively or used well, but it's the loot boxes that are like you have to pump money into this, and if you don't, it's incredibly slow for you to progress in the game. That's when it kind of crosses a line for me in a big way, and we don't have that answer yet. It's certainly set up in ways in the same way that games that
Also,
do that
there's
are,
a
but we don't
reason
know.
why you don't just put a store up and say, hey, if you want these characters, they are each 99 cents.
Right.
The reason is that they prey on people that are going to be obsessed with the random selection and not get what they want and keep on putting money in. That's an actual calculation.
So, Casey.
Store versus gambling. And it disturbs me that like Nintendo's buy into that. I don't think that's
I mean, we don't know. We'll see,
Yeah.
right? There's certainly a random element done well in games keeps it interesting. And I always like the notion of, like, in games like Plants vs. Zombies, like opening the packs at the end. You didn't have to pay for them at the time when it came out.
Exactly.
The,
So if that was the case and it was
shooter.
all just like you pay $20 for this game and it has this annoying but like persistent unlockable system, that's not too different from other Mario Karts. They all have annoying but persistent unlockable systems. That's just what
right.
they have.
I do wonder how far the unlockables will go, because Mario Kart, well, by the time we got 8, we had baby versions of characters, metal versions of characters, skeletal versions of characters, but the roster of Mario isn't as huge as, say, like Fire Emblem Heroes, which is every Fire Emblem game and all the side characters show up.
Think of all the costumes.
There could be
Like, just think
costumes.
of Mario and how many costumes he had on in Odyssey. And
There
that
are,
could
like-
be a different character for each one of them.
Yeah, there are 10 Mario amiibos or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I was really happy to just change gears here. Dino Jungle, to see that level from GameCube was
Right.
really, really cool to see in it. And it looked amazing. I
That's-
think it looks so smooth and lovely. I think it's like such a great looking. Like Nintendo can do this on phones too. That's mind blowing to me.
Well, I mean, they're testing everything because of Mario Kart Ultimate eventually coming that has every course ever and every character ever. As we all
Everyone is
know.
here.
Ultimate became a series, it would be really, really cool. WarioWare Ultimate.
This is the franchise to do it with, right?
It is.
Yeah.
But the last
Everyone's
game
here.
had more options than anything else. It just didn't have every course ever.
That's right.
Yeah,
It was pretty feature rich, like
Yep.
and level rich. Yeah.
people are saying also, I think I saw somewhere that currently in the beta there are 16 circuits, which are like 4 courses each, but one of those courses seems to be
It's
what
a
you were
bonus
talking
course,
about,
yeah.
like a bonus course. So, and some of them might be reverse courses, so it's unclear currently how many levels are actually in the game, if there are any new levels. I kind of would almost just be cool with them using old levels entirely for this.
Well, and presumably, I mean, if this is a service game, they'll be Sega. They'll be released over time, right? They'll add more
That joke
courses
is
to
that
keep you
service games is the contraction that makes the term Sega. Sega
is it actually, is that what it's
going.
based on?
Oh, wow! I thought you knew. Thank you for
They're a pinball repair company in Hawaii before they were Sega in Japan.
service games. Thank you for rescuing me
not
from
true.
making
It's absolutely
an
true.
obscure joke.
I was
Amazing.
confused.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Today I learned. Wow.
Yeah. Did you know
that knocked
IGN
me completely off the rails. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, did you know IGN stands for I Got Nuts? It's true.
It's only true because he says it though all the time.
You get to make the rules.
It
This
used to
isn't fair.
be it used to be a peanut company.
I thought it was Internet
back
Gamer
when, yeah.
Gnomes.
No.
No?
No,
All right,
wait.
sorry, Tom.
With an N.
Keep
that
going.
would be IGG.
No, it's the
Oh, I
G's
love
gone.
this. What were we talking about? Mario Kart, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, he was talking about games as service, I think.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a pretty big lineup of courses for a game that I figure would expand over time to keep people interested in playing.
And there are like 31 characters that people have data mined,
Right.
been able to unlock so far.
There are no surprises.
So we did breeze over this a little bit but I do want to bring it up again just a little more clearly if people didn't catch on. There is a stamina system in this game. Hearts, where you spend those to race, and if you run out, you have to wait a certain amount of hours to get more.
From what I saw, I mean, this is just a piece of a YouTube video someone put up. When they used one and finished the track, it said 13 minutes till your next heart.
I hate that.
Oof.
I hate it
I,
so
I,
much.
are there any people out there who love that, including the developers, who are basically coding a system that prevents people
from
from
enjoying their
game? It's so weird.
Why?
But it's like,
What an era!
I
what
gotta-
era is this that we're in? It's
I gotta
so
say,
weird.
with some of the early era, free-to-play games like your Candy Crushes, I didn't mind it because I would play these games while waiting for something, and then I was fine to just let the game sit.
Like what
it's so
but now-
brutal.
I was on and off on Fire Emblem Heroes for a while, and what I liked it was that your stamina and that started at 100, and then went down. When you used different difficulty matches took up different stamina, but then over time would go back to 100. In Mario Kart, you start off with 5, I think, and you can get more from like prize packs, I think. But I wonder, does it reset to just 5, or does it go up higher than that? Because that really will affect how much enjoyment you can get at a time. If you can only have to wait for 5 hearts at a time, if you're lucky, that's 5 courses
Yeah.
every 15 minutes or more.
Weird.
Overall, I don't know about you guys, but seeing this stuff has made me excited to play it and really nervous about how it is going to be to deal with all of that gacha and stamina stuff.
I'm just wondering, what do I get out of this that I wouldn't get out of Mario Kart?
So that is, I think that's the big thing here. When
agree.
Nintendo announced their mobile games, they said it will be a complementary strategy. These games will be different. And so I would have never expected Mario Kart to be so on the nose. That is literally a racer you play
It's
against
surprising,
others.
right? So, like, is there a twist?
Like
is there
that.
like a always, is the racing online going to be like interesting in some way?
Yeah.
Not everything
very
is unlocked
unclear.
in the beta. People
Yeah.
were saying things like 200cc are there but locked, so it could be that we haven't seen everything.
Yeah.
CCs don't really matter if you can race people that automatically stay on the course.
I thought for sure this was like a race betting game or something where you're watching people race and you bet
Yeah.
on them.
It was
Not
really would be
not
allowed in
actually real Mario Kart. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Seems
That
to be.
is surprising to me too.
I'm a little nervous about the where the microtransactions fit into this, but to Nintendo's credit, they did do that thing with Fire Emblem, right? Or with Dragalia Lost a few months ago, where they actually toned down the microtransactions, the grindiness, because they thought it was too grindy. So maybe we should.
In too much credit for Fire Emblem, people have had complaints about like the end game kind of grind, but they give out so much free stuff all the time. They're just
Right.
like every first pull for a new banner is free.
Yeah.
And like they'll be like, hey, you guys been here for a year. Here's 200 orbs. Go crazy. Like, so I like that they do that. So hopefully Mario Kart isn't too predatory about that.
And speaking of predatory practices, let's get into.
Well, hold
some,
on. I want to hear what your favorite Mario Kart games are.
Oh, favorite Mario Kart game.
Just individually. What's yours?
I think 8 Deluxe is hard to beat.
Okay, mine's
Double Dash is
mine's
high up
Double
there
Dash.
too.
wow, Double Dash is your favorite?
Yeah,
That's
I don't think
surprising.
it's ever been topped in any way.
Why? Because of the co-op
I
mechanic?
like the fact that there are differences to the characters that are meaningful in
Okay.
what weapons they have, and then I just think the course package is it's limited, but so much better than any of the
That
other.
was my issue. I thought it was too slow and the course is too wide.
Wide.
Yeah, I thought they were very
What about
wide.
that baby park.
Oh yeah, and Baby Park was the ultimate insult course. And in 8, it's actually complete mayhem and super
yeah.
fun. No, I think 8 you just can't beat it. It feels so good.
Yeah.
It's so right.
8 was great, but 64 is block for multiplayer battle.
Dude, nothing is top
True.
in terms of the verses. Nothing is top 64. right now.
64 has the best 3 players certainly. 4 player it can get a little chunky and
Yeah.
choppy.
Cool. Sorry. All right.
No.
And
What's
2 player
illegal now?
GP was amazing in that.
Well,
game.
that was after you ruined my wonderful segue there, Sam. But
do it again.
Look, I can't let you get
Let's
away with
rewind.
segues like that, Tom.
No, let's go into some news. The first thing I wanted to talk about is related to what we were just talking about, which is Nintendo, we already mentioned it, is shutting down Fire Emblem Heroes and Animal Crossing Pocket Camp in Belgium due to their inclusion of loot boxes. It's going into effect August 27th, so if
Wow.
you're listening in from Belgium, play those games before August 27th.
And sorry, you probably won't get Mario Kart.
Yeah, Mario Kart. I doubt Mario Kart Tour will come there with
Yeah.
this sort of. If it does have what we think it has and what it looks like it has, then yeah.
Well, look, at least Belgium, at least you have beer.
Yeah,
You
well,
have
I
really
was
good
gonna
beer,
say,
so-
you can. It's only a few hours across, right?
Yeah.
So you could just drive to any other neighboring
And,
country.
and you have that crazy building in Brussels too. You can climb on that, the weird atomium thing.
I've been to Brussels, but I don't remember a crazy building.
You don't remember that? They have that crazy thing that looks like an
Is it a
atom.
jungle gym?
And then you have Hercule Poirot. That's all we know about Belgium. And he was written by an English lady.
The beer, though.
Yeah, the beer is
seriously,
awesome.
Seriously.
By the way, not to just pick on Belgium here, these
I think
kinds
we're
of
pumping up
laws
Belgium.
will be passed in other countries as
Yeah,
well. So
I don't think this is the last one for
Yeah.
sure. There's already talk of it
especially in Europe.
coming somewhere else in Europe. I can't remember where now, but I wouldn't be surprised to see more games, not Nintendo, start getting cut out of those places too. Another little bit of news that's kind of cool is that Uniqlo was running a Pokemon shirt competition that has now ended, so you can go check out some new shirts at Uniqlo.
that you can't get anymore. Is that what you're telling people?
No, they're available. They don't go on sale until June 24th.
I see. Okay.
So June 24th is when you should set your calendars. They'll be available online in stores, and they're all just like
Limited,
kinda cool
right?
and weird. They're very limited, but they're just really neat designs. So if
Yeah,
you're
the
a
ones
Pokemon
they
fan-
had, was it last year? Were really good. The
Yeah.
Metroid, I bought that one.
They've been doing nerdy shirts here and there. It's so funny to me that Uniqlo gets into that sort of thing because a lot of what they built their brand on is just like really comfy sweaters, and now they're getting into video.
They're
game
really
stuff
cool.
too.
There was one like a creepy Gengar shirt that
Yeah,
looked
yeah,
really
yeah.
good, and they're created by people all around the planet, basically, right? The designers.
I feel like they're a lot more stylish than what you would see at like a Hot Topic, where it's just like, here's the poster art slapped on a t-shirt, have fun.
I'm actually so surprised that they're supporting this. Like, I feel like in the past, Pokemon Company was so restrictive when it came to utilizing their characters and how they would be presented, and these are pretty far off from the.
But now we got a
original
Pokemon
looks and
movie.
stuff. Yeah.
I like
Okay.
the one that looks like kind of like an embroidered tunic. See that one? It's like green. I don't know what's on it.
Yeah, it's good
I
stuff.
don't like shirts that have side prints. I don't get it.
I'm with you at that one.
get that.
But there's a really
I
classy
can't pull
one.
it off. I'll tell you that.
There's a really classy one that's just white with a pocket that just has the little missing no with the question mark missing no right on the pocket. It's really cute.
That one.
There's good ones.
See?
We also embedded, and check out our article about this. I think there's like every single T-shirt we have in a slideshow, but there's also the embed in there of the polo shirt style ones or the dress shirt style ones that were from like a year ago.
Yeah.
Those designs are really cool. They each have a tiny.
the embed, eh? You're talking shop here.
Do people not know what that is?
I don't think people know what a service games is.
I think people have been embedding YouTube videos for about 20 years.
Okay, fine.
The funny thing is that the Uniqlo ones, not quite as cool as those fancy Pokemon ones. Probably a lot more affordable though.
Yeah.
True.
Another little bit of news, and I kind of selfishly put this on the list. I'm not going to lie. Final Fantasy VII Switchport was randomly updated last week to fix a audio bug that was first introduced in the 2012 PC port of the game. And it was eventually fixed in the PC port of the game, and then they ported it to PS4 in 2015, and it reintroduced the same bug.
Oh my god.
Never fixed it, released it on Switch, reintroduced the same bug, and finally randomly they just updated to 1.0.1. And so
that's
the
great.
bug.
Switch is the definitive version.
I think they also updated the Xbox version, but yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well,
I'll just
did
say
you
yes.
encounter this bug yourself when you played the PC version originally?
I didn't play much of that PC port because it had other issues too. It's like
Yeah.
weird music. And
Would you
there's
say
lot
it's
of weird
a
stuff.
sort of random encounter?
Ooh.
Actually,
Yeah.
it's very consistent and repeatable.
I prefer that.
replicable.
All right.
Yeah, so this
Well, that's
bug,
good news.
This bug was, if anybody doesn't know, and if you had been holding off on playing Final Fantasy VII because of it, because there are actually people who were, every time you went from a random encounter,
Whoa. People were not playing this game because of the audio bug?
there was.
How bad was it?
It's a really annoying bug.
Is it like people like when they
Screaming
when
in
they
your ear?
eat on microphone?
So
and you have to listen to it.
That's the bug, yeah.
That's the bug.
ASMR
some people
clap
like
eating
that,
it.
yeah.
Don't even make the jokes. People will stop listening.
No, so it's a very minor
Some
bug
people
that was
like
very
that.
annoying. So some people do. I'm not judging.
My wife
That's
likes
all.
ASMR.
Some people like
I don't
whispering.
understand it.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I understand ASMR.
No, I don't.
The chewing.
The chewing, yeah, it's that. The chewing ASMR.
I think
Okay.
we've chewed on this a little bit too long.
Yeah.
Is that a segue?
Segue.
No, the bug. I want to try to explain the bug, but nobody let me. It's kind of annoying, but it's not huge. Basically, every time you entered a random encounter and then left it, the overworld music would restart. So you'd only ever hear the first 20 seconds of any overworld track, and then you'd get into a fight, and it would restart when you came back out. And you would just hear that on loop forever and
But
ever
it
and
wasn't
ever.
like
the
that
best
in the
part.
PlayStation version?
It was that. It was like that, and not like that in the original version. Yeah.
So in the original version, it would find on the disc where it had like Redbook audio, which is like an audio track.
Yeah.
It would find the seconds and start back there.
Yeah.
Like 20 seconds
So
in.
you'd get to
and then
hear the
40
whole
seconds
song
in.
eventually.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
There was also a bug where coming out of cutscenes, it would flash black, the screen would, and they fixed that as well. So if you're holding off, they fixed that game up a little bit on Switch.
So it does sound like it'd be annoying to hear the start of the overworld
yeah,
theme
it's
song
not
over again.
it's not game breaking, but it's definitely not like a good experience.
Tom, I'm actually really excited about your next piece of news because I was just lying awake all night worrying about this next thing.
So this next piece is a segue,
Yeah.
mostly.
Yeah.
Luigi's Mansion 3 has officially been rated in Korea.
So yeah, I woke up
Thank God.
sweating, hoping it had been rated in Korea. What does this mean?
We've been
Why
waiting
is this
for
news,
the K
Tom?
rating for weeks.
this
weeks.
is a bit of a weird one. I will agree.
And it's in North Korea, of course.
Whoa. So essentially what people are inferring from this is if it's at the point where it can be rated in a region,
Yeah.
maybe it's getting close to the end of its cycle.
right.
And that means maybe at E3 we're going to get a date that is within a month or two or something like that, right? Like maybe it's really, really close, much closer to release because we haven't really heard anything about it. But if it's gotten rated, then that means it's farther along than maybe we thought.
I definitely think it's in the early fall lineup probably because July is Fire Emblem, and do we have any specific dates after that?
June is Super Mario Maker, July is Fire Emblem, and no, we don't have any more dates.
So I think
Isn't the whole idea just to align it with Halloween? I mean,
That's actually
why,
a pretty
why
good
would
idea.
they not?
Yeah, we thought it would be October, but we'll see.
Well,
There's summer
let's-
ghosts,
Let's
too.
talk about what we want then from
Oh,
it.
actually,
So
hold on a
also
second.
Wait,
evil.
yeah.
Oh,
In,
good segue.
in Japan,
okay.
summertime is when they show all the ghost movies on television. That's the you're cooling down when it's hot by being scared. So that might actually be a Japan release for
Okay.
this.
Don't you
It's
get
almost
more
like a
sweaty
summer
and stressed when you see
No.
ghosts though?
No, maybe you sweat and the sweat cools you. There,
So what? It could be like
Yeah.
end of August,
Yeah.
September-ish. That,
July and August are hell in many parts of Japan. It's very hot.
well, that's a good prediction, actually. I want to talk about what else we think we might see from the big. I guess it's big 6, but we're going to skip one of them. Nintendo has, as far as I can tell, 6 big first-party games that have been promised for 2019.
The Sinister Sticks. Six, sorry.
Sticks. Yeah,
Sticks.
Yeah.
almost stuck it.
Oops.
2 of which have release dates, and the other 4 are just 2019. The 2 that have release dates are Super Mario Maker 2 and Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Yeah.
The other 4 are Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, Animal Crossing, which we know nothing about besides Tom Nook will be in it and have a computer, and Luigi's Mansion 3, and then Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Does Tom Nook wear a bow tie?
No,
Okay, I'm just checking.
he got a little sweater vest.
Okay.
So what I want to do is I want to go around and kind of ask you guys,
Do you know all the characters that wear bow ties?
not offhand.
The bow tie cinematic universe.
You were very quick to jump on that.
Like, doesn't Doraemon have a bow tie? The cat, or does he have a propeller? He has a propeller.
I know the cat in Splatoon has a
Cat's
little
a
imprint
robot, so-
of a bow tie,
Yeah.
but it's just in his fur pattern.
See, you guys know more about what characters have bow ties than I do.
I
I
do.
just know Tom Nook probably doesn't have one.
Do you have
Probably. All right, I sense it. I'm gonna look it up.
do you have PJs with a bow tie?
No.
Okay.
That's a good present.
Christmas present.
Write
Yeah,
that down.
here we go.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
Secret
gracious.
Santa.
Christmas.
So what I want to do is I want to talk to you guys about basically one hope and one fear, or one thing that you want to be announced for each of these games at E3, and one thing that you are afraid will be announced, or maybe don't want to see happen.
Okay.
And we can, because of that segue, start with Luigi's Mansion. If I can find my
Oh
notes.
boy, Tom, I don't know if this is good news or bad news.
What?
He does have a tie,
Right.
but it's not a bow tie. It's under a
Also,
Yeah,
looking at
that's what-
DeviantArt pictures, that's just going to be a dark
I'm just
hole.
zooming in on one.
Yeah.
We need
That's-
some pictures of Tom Nook with a bow tie. It's no coincidence his name is Tom.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So one thing that we hope will come true, and one
Yeah,
thing that
'cause-
we fear.
Because we already
And don't want.
we already talked about our predictions
Okay.
of what Nintendo might actually do. This is what we want from these games or don't want. So for example, my fear with Luigi's Mansion 3 is that they're going to come out and they're going to announce it and they're going to say it's Luigi's Mansion 2 style and it's all level based and it's individual levels that are linear like the second game rather than the first game.
Was that you mean like Dark Moon?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dark Moon was,
Dark
was,
Moon-
was stage or mission
It was
based.
stages.
Different maps.
It was. I think it was
Wasn't
fun.
that to expand it?
No, it was. I think it was really because of the 3DS limitations. They knew that on the go that you want to just get through a mission quickly, close your 3DS, come back later, do the next mission.
I agree. I love that. I love that setup of a mansion where you unlock doors and you find new ways in.
Yeah.
I'm I mean, that's like
Yeah.
the Mario 64 castle. Like,
Yep.
it is cool to have a sense of place and secrets in that place that expand to other, or Resident Evil, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things like that too.
My hope for Luigi's Mansion 3 was that it's out now, but now talking to Pear, I think that's probably less likely. that's going to be their, you can get it right now game. It
I
won't
love
be, though.
that when that happens.
I don't think so. I think they want to build up a little bit more marketing for that
Oh,
one.
totally.
Yeah.
They
We
would
be
not
seeing the
just
marketing.
release
Yeah.
that game, but I really hope they do.
The games that are out now are the ones that usually don't have any marketing attached to them, namely mobile games. Like a Fallout Shelter would come out and they just kind of toss it out there.
Or Mario Kart Tour.
Yeah, or Mario Kart Tour apparently to a select.
My
few.
hope is that it has a run button, and, and my fear is that you permanently have to crawl.
That's a good.
I mean, I think we've seen some of the small trailer that we did see that he wasn't crawling.
Yeah.
Well, you
So
never
pretty
know.
good.
But if there's a stand up and walk normally button and you're normally crawling,
Games are iterative. Maybe
I like
maybe they
these
went crawling.
Deep dark fears you have about video games.
no, my greatest. I mean, I actually think those games are too slow for me. So I would like
Yep.
to be able to, backtrack and explore in like a more convenient way. I like the battle system in those games, and the exploration needs some improvement.
Yeah.
So I guess building off of your hopes for how it looks, like the one thing we did see at the end when they showed the title screen for the logo for a mansion is looks like a hotel. It's a huge tower. So I hope that is not mission based, but I do kind of hope we get like this level tier of like unlocking different areas and like maybe it'd be like a Metroidvania of like, hey, to unlock this level you need this certain key that you have to go back to and find later. So I want to hear more about how the verticality of this mansion is going to play into the game. My fear, or my thing I don't want to see is I don't want to see Luigi multiplayer.
Luigi?
The multiplayer if they put in 3DS version of.
Yeah,
Oh, man, I don't
Luigi is
think
an
I ever-
ectoplasmic projection of Luigi.
I don't think I ever played that actually.
Yeah, I'm fine with it just being Luigi by himself getting scared. I don't need co-op.
Did you guys play the Luigi's Mansion arcade game?
No,
Yes.
but it looks really cool.
It's really neat. They have it at whatever it's called, Dave and Buster's,
Yeah.
Daily City. You can play it there.
So my hope is that it's a Metroidvania setup where you gain new powers, you upgrade your vacuum cleaner, and you get to open new doors and all that. My fear is that they're not going to have the same passion for contextual audio that I do. I absolutely loved it that Luigi walked around humming the music
Yeah,
at the same time, or like the whole like Mario when you like hit walls, like and the different things that he says.
That was
I
a
want
really
that.
good impression. By
I
the way.
love that. It's
Mario.
so good.
Yeah, that's a really good one. And it's funny because when Luigi's Mansion came out, they were doing that with Pikmin also, where if you brought the Pikmin out,
Yeah,
they
all
would
sing
sing.
along. Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a new fear.
point.
If they don't have a dedicated Mario button to call it for Mario. That was like the dedicated A button.
Mario.
It'd be funny
Mario.
if they had, if
Mario.
okay, so I don't need a run button if there's a morph ball.
Interesting.
All right.
Are you sure you're just confused with Metroid?
Yeah, I think that's
You guys did that. I didn't talk about Metroid at all.
All right.
I know, but he can crawl. He can morph ball. It seems like,
Samus can't crawl.
yeah. Why can't Metroid crawl?
Metroid can't crawl.
Sam, I feel like you're going off the rails here.
Yeah.
Why? You don't think Luigi
just
can
suggested-
roll into a ball?
I mean, all right, fair enough.
Well,
If we're gonna get a Metroid game, let's just go full Metroid.
okay. All right.
Metroid and Ghosts. Let's do
All
it.
right. I see
Didn't they
what
do that with 3 or 2?
Yeah.
There was like Ghost Samus. I don't know.
what other
You think? Well, there's always been Chozo ghosts, and you have to fight them in
Oh,
Metroid
yeah.
Prime.
it's chosen.
Yeah.
and Dark Samuses who are
And guess
corrupted
what?
versions.
Right. that's
They're
what I'm
evil.
No, they were your protectors. They just kind of got corrupted. They're good at heart.
The whole
What
ghost
is, if somebody gets corrupted, they're
Sam,
evil.
you got to stop. Like not all ghosts are evil. The Holy Ghost.
Every ghost is evil.
The Holy Ghost. Okay.
All right,
You
we're getting into
just-
sacrilegious territory here.
No.
So I want to switch gears to Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. This is a little bit of a weirder one because it is a remake. So
Mine's really simple.
what are your hopes?
My hope is that they don't change anything. My fear is they change something.
That's okay.
Like Majora's Mask 3D.
See, that's
When they went back and like, hey, what if we put giant eyes on the bosses? Wouldn't that be neat? It wasn't neat. Didn't need that.
see that's
giant
different than my
eyes?
fear. Or that mine is. I hope that they show off new stuff. I want them like maybe not change stuff, but I hope that they are like that. This is a little bit more than a remake. That they have a new area or a new something.
I agree. I want them to have something unique, a new area in the game. That is my hope. Fears. I don't know. I watched the footage so far, and like it just looks exactly what I want. Like I don't have any fears. Maybe my fear is that the Game Boy camera won't be supported. Which, yes.
Honestly, I was having trouble with this one too.
I wonder what they will do, though, with those kind of Game Boy-specific little things.
I hope I can still steal.
I'm going to cheat then. I hope we get the Oracle games in the same style afterwards.
Ooh.
Well, so that was one of the things is I guess I just don't have a fear about this game either because my fear was mostly that this is the only Zelda thing they talk about at the show. Because
that's a good one.
There was rumors that there might be another Zelda in 2019 that would be a smaller sort of thing, and we don't really know what that is.
Well, that turned out to be the Necrodancer spin-off.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, right.
Oh
Cadence of
gosh,
Hyrule.
I didn't put those pieces
There
together.
was some rumors that it was going to be a multiplayer game that would tick people off, but it wasn't. It was a spin-off.
I want there to be a good amount of this, either a good amount of this or some other sort of tease of something Zelda. Because I love Zelda, and it's been a while, and I could overdose on it and be happy.
I mean, Breath of the Wild 2, whatever it's going to be called,
Electric
has
Boogaloo.
to be in development.
Yeah.
And,
Not that they're going to show that this year.
yeah.
I don't think.
I hope there's a
Little
1.5
early, right?
Yeah.
with like a Dark World or something in Breath of the
Like
Wild.
Majora's
I think
Mask style take.
That map could be totally used.
Yeah,
for something
Haunted
like this.
Hyrule. I still want it.
Yeah, and every ghost.
Basically, I'm saying Wind Waker HD. That's what I really mean when I say that.
Casper is not bad.
Let's-
Casper is not bad.
Casper haunts people. That's bad.
friendly
But he's
ghost.
a friend.
It's. Do you want a friendly ghost? Even
All right, fine.
a child ghost walking around your house. They're trying to make light
Bruce
of that.
Willis.
You just spoiled the movie.
No. We don't know what
Listen,
movie.
I
It could
don't-
be Die
Die
Hard.
Hard 3.
We don't have to
Okay.
talk about that.
Keep going.
Let's talk about Animal Crossing because it's happy and I want to be happy and stop arguing.
Yeah.
What are you guys hoping
What is
for?
the show
for this
normally like?
Yeah.
That's well.
we actually
that's
don't
fair.
argue at all. We just make jokes
Wow.
about dragons, and then we talk about all the new games that
I
came
feel
out.
like-
but
Just trying to dial it down 10%. That's
I
all.
just want it to be divisive so people keep listening.
Oh,
Yeah, we want to make your host job interesting.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing, my fear is that it is very close to the previous games.
Yep. Exactly.
With no
Interesting.
big expanded kind of like long-term quest elements that keep me that make me come back, because the gameplay loop of seeing what a holiday would look like, or what would change over time as plants grow, or wanting to collect all the fruit, that loop is kind of old for me, and I need something that expands beyond it, like something that is more than just collect every piece of furniture and trade fruit with your friends. That's my fear, that it's gonna be very close to it, with some new gameplay element, like there's a university you can go to or something, like where
Those
you
are never
can-
that interesting, right?
My hope is that that's not the case.
Okay.
I'll add
Process
here
over
is-
a little bit.
Mine was the exact thing, but I think the collectible sets specifically have been exactly the same. I know there's a slightly different dragonfly every once in a
Yeah.
while, but the bugs, fish, fossil, what am I missing? Gyroids or whatever. Those are
Yeah.
those are all the same sets.
Paintings.
Always. And I love
Carpets.
fishing and I love all that stuff, but like it's always the same, and the furniture is still the same. They've
Yeah.
imported the furniture designs, and like my house actually has I always try to get the new stuff, but it's hard to do now.
Oh.
There's so much old stuff, and it's all randomized, so you get all the old stuff.
I take it back. I hope that there are more customization options for like ground and stuff. That was so cool. Being able to customize stuff and make your town like create patterns and
Place bridges.
mosaics and all that. Yep.
Yeah,
I guess
That
we're
was-
in a quite a bit of a theme here, because my fear is also that the same characters give out the same stuff. Like Gracie has the same fashion line for the past like 5 games. Like, get some new material, please. And like all the special characters, like if you see Gulliver, he does the exact same thing every time. He's on the beach, wake him up, you get a thing. You see the otter in the water, he gives you a pirate theme. That's it. Like, I would like to be, if they just remix like either how you find them or what they can give out, that would go a long way, I think.
Or they do like Breath of the Wild, where like everything is different. Like what you're expecting is not going to happen.
Yeah. My hopes are that there are expanded multiplayer elements, like being able to not just go to someone's town, but like bring your RV and have a custom tricked out like the crossing camp, or have a little tent, like your own campground, that you can actually bring your customization with you, so that people who are seeing you visit the town can see what you have as well. Would be kind of a neat thing to do, to basically show off your stuff as you could travel around people's towns.
So you brought up the Breath of the Wild thing. My hope is an overworld. I want the village to be the village, but I want there to be a world. And I want
Yeah.
to go fishing in that world outside of my village and get out and like actually have a
More like-
giant place to explore.
Like how Harvest Moon expanded. Sorry, my voice is changing.
Like if your town was in the corner of the Breath of the Wild map,
puberty.
there'd be so much to do in Animal Crossing.
what's
You could
in the
actually
middle,
go
like-
out and meet people and find weird stuff.
But you can't build houses out there. But you can
No,
go
just
out
in your village, but
because
you
it
can
belongs to the
venture forth.
government, the land. You
So would there be
Belongs to Tom Nook.
Yeah.
I love the idea of venturing forth as just your little character with your axe and your stuff, and you have to go gather resources.
would there
for a
be
long time.
dangers like scorpions that chase you and try to
No.
sting you?
Let's just make it Zelda.
So my hope is a simple one. I hope there's local split screen.
Oh yeah.
I hope there's co-op, like local co-op.
They've
'Cause
never had that.
They've never had local, right? They've had
You have
co-op.
to sit in the room
They've
with your
gotten-
friend playing on the 3DS.
Yeah.
together,
They've
which is
gotten
great.
really good at doing online, like visiting villages and all that. That used to be so limited, and
Yeah.
it's much better
and
now.
I'm,
love
I'm
getting
very
furniture
happy that
from
they've gotten
houses.
better at it. But yeah,
I love stealing furniture.
I think the Switch is
Can't
so
do that.
designed for that, right? Hand a Joy-Con to someone and just run around together. And I really hope there's very simple, easy drop-in, drop-out co-op in this game. My fear is a very simple one as well. I hope it's not Amiibo Pals 2 or whatever.
Amiibo Festival?
Amiibo Festival 2.
okay.
Everyone loved that game.
Because they have not told us a name or a theme for this game, and if they said it's Animal Crossing, it's another mini game, I'll lose my mind.
They
I
wouldn't
will
have
walk out of
announced it like
E3 and never come back.
I agree. I don't think they would, but that is my deep down fear more than.
But there have been two
anything
spin-offs.
else.
That is a good
recently.
fear
They-
to have.
They did the mobile game, and then they did
Yeah.
the 3DS spin-off, the Happy Home Designer or whatever.
I don't think that's this. I don't think we have to worry about that, but I still am.
You put the fear in my mind
Fair
now,
enough.
though. Can't shake it.
Let's real quickly. I only want to touch on this one shortly because it's. I think we don't need to. Fire Emblem Warriors is going to be out.
Here,
a month and
Three
a half
Houses.
later. There's Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Three
yes,
Cheese
thank
Pizza.
you. Three
I
Cheese.
can. I mean, my hope is that it starts with a song where somebody sings "Fire Emblem."
I like that theme song.
And my fear is that they're in their quest for accessibility, they'll make it a little bit too easy because this franchise I always liked the challenge, and I always play it with permadeath, and I understand that it's smart to have a mode where you can turn that off, but I hope they don't. I hope it pisses you off when you play it. I really like that.
That's been a point of contention, I think, in recent Fire Emblem games. 3DS have been a little bit on the easier side.
Yep, for sure.
I guess I'll segue into mine. My hopes are I kind of want to see how these crazy big maps look. But they showed, like, when you go into battle, your main character has like a huge phalanx of people on their side. They're all charging with them.
Yep.
I want to see how that actually plays into combat. Like, do you have to like be sure that your characters are backed up by all these grunts behind you? How does that play into tactics? And I guess this kind of goes into my other hope that I have is I want it to be more challenging. I want, like, the older Fire Emblem games had a lot more variety to like the objectives. Like I feel like the 3DS games are just either you clear the entire map or you defend a place for 5 turns.
Yeah.
And like there were some pretty inventive ones. I remember like in Path of Radiance, there was like, oh, you have to get around these non-combatants that they're in your way, but you can't hurt them. You have to like push them out of the way. If you killed them, you lose the whole mission.
The old ones also had the kind of like the spawn points where enemies would come in a lot, like stairs, and you could occupy them. It's like a
Right.
game of chess to block them out.
My fear is I don't want babies.
That's the only good thing about the best
don't-
Fire Emblem games.
So you've said this before in the office,
Yes.
and I really like the time travel element and the concept that 2 characters can form a new one. And basically, if you haven't played Fire Emblem, dear listeners and viewers, the game introduced the
when
concept
2
that
soldiers like each other very much.
When
Yeah.
love blooms on the battlefield.
one is a bee, one is a flower. You actually get a kid who combines the traits from those 2 characters. So you have a choice as to what kind of army you create, which I thought was so clever. Now, I agree, like repeating that every time, it gets a little old. And it would be cool if they came up with something new.
Yeah, I think it was fine in Awakening. I think they really stretched it when it became Fates and Conquest.
No, Awakening is the prototype.
Yeah.
That is the one to like look back to. I think it's the best Fire Emblem game.
I don't think it's the
everyone
best
should
one,
be
but
like-
that's fine. But I
well,
think
maybe
that
the NES one's
now
fine.
that we have this school feature where you kind of train your units and there's more customization there, I'm assuming that I hope that they don't need to rely on having child characters be the ones you customize in advance. And I think it also kind of limits the diversity of characters you find in the game, where if half of them are all kids, they're kind of set in stone, like, oh yeah, it's just you're the parent and now I'm the kid and that's my whole story. Like, I liked meeting characters throughout the story who came from all walks of life and had all these backgrounds and they'd be conflicting with each other. Like, I want to see more of that.
Well, I have bad news. This game is set in a school, so they're all kids.
Yeah,
so
they're
there
all-
you go.
Everybody's a baby.
That's right. You don't ever
Sam,
play
you
as
have any
babies.
Fire
Yeah,
Emblem
I
Hopeful
guess mine is that like I always get stuck in this thing in Fire Emblem where all my characters that I liked from the beginning I only use, and I never try new characters. And it's because you have to kind of like surround your character and then let them get like the last hit in battle so they like get XP.
I love that.
It is fun, but it makes me not do it. And just like psychologically, I need a way to grind in a fun way for new characters so I can try them out, or else I'll never try them out.
Well, they added kind of like side missions that you can do, so you can
easier ones,
grind, and obviously stuff you do
They were
in
never
town.
fun for me.
They always have that one villager you meet in the very beginning who's like super underpowered.
Donald.
But if you
Yeah.
stick with them, they can be really good in the end. Yeah.
It's really cool. I like
But
that.
nobody does.
Everything about that.
My fear is just that they have some sort of extensive mobile game integration. Because then I'm gonna have to play Fire Emblem Heroes, and I really don't want to do that.
see.
I played a lot.
And my hope is that it's actually just Harry Potter themed, just full
It's
on.
Hogwarts.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what they're holding out on. Is they're actually gonna be like, it's 4 houses and they're just Gryffindor and Ravenclaw and all those.
And you're
I see.
Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
Get used to it.
Real fast, because we're running out of time on this one, but Pokemon Sword and Shield, does anybody have any major hopes and fears for this one? We've seen more of this game than maybe stuff like Luigi's Mansion, but there's still a lot up in the air. My hope is just that they show off or confirm that this region is going to get connected to Kalos, or just that you go to other regions in this game.
That's a hope or fear?
That's a hope. I really, really hope that they do that. And then my fear is just that they go back to the 8-gym, really rigid structure that they had before Sun and Moon, and kind of ignore that Sun and Moon ever happened. And I'm really scared they're going to do that. I don't know if they fully will, but I just really don't want them to. I liked how much Sun and Moon shook things up.
My fear is exactly that it will be so similar to the last games, even with the kind
really
of
seems like
more top-down view, that approach. I'm hoping it'll feel fresh and new. And I really liked what happened with Breath of the Wild and how different that game felt. Or when we went from 2D Mario to Super Mario 64, and now we have these kind of two series sitting side by side. That hasn't happened with Pokemon yet.
Yeah.
Totally. That's exactly it.
Imagine if you had a Breath of the Wild-ified Pokemon where after you get your little starting town, you can go to any city you want, any gym you want, any region you want, and the Pokemon would either scale to your level or there'd be different depending on what your badge progress was. You'd find different people, so you could actually go where you wanted, build your team of Pokemon from wherever you chose, and then take on gyms in your order you're choosing.
Yeah. Or you encounter random humans a la Destiny,
They've already shown cars and buses
Or
and trains
MMOs.
in this, but how great would it have been if they actually did set this 600 years ago? And like the Pokemon were like a little bit weird, and people were like
It's a
living in
prequel.
Europe, and it's like a fantasy game.
That would be
prequel.
really cool.
Yeah.
They discover Pokemon for the first time. Like some
Yeah.
kid goes in a cave, hits a wall, and behind it is a Snorlax.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
now I want that.
Yeah, well,
Sam.
that would be the expansion the series needs to actually do something creative.
The Pokemon
and new
origin
and-
story?
Yeah. It'd be
Maybe,
so
maybe
Sam,
they'll just
make
lean
that
in,
game.
Maybe
All
they'll
right,
just
I'm on
lean
it.
into the UK side of it, and everyone will be like drinking heavily the entire time.
Okay.
You never know. In this case, you know. Let's move on to what came out this week, though. If anybody has any questions about our hopes and fears, or if you have hopes and fears of your own for these big games, we skipped Mario Maker because we talked about that a lot in our last episode. So you can go back and check that out. And yeah, let us know in the comments what you want to or don't want to see about these games and the big games. And then post E3, we will see. We'll see how we did. See if any of these came true, good or bad. Looking at what came out recently. This is actually last week. Castlevania Anniversary Collection came out on the 16th. It is $20. Comes with Castlevania 1, 2, 3, Super Castlevania 4, Castlevania The Adventure, Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge, Castlevania Bloodlines,
Only for Sega Genesis.
Kid Dracula, which was never before released in English.
Ask your parents to hook it up.
And then a bonus ebook called History of Castlevania, Book of the Crescent Moon. Sam, you've been playing a little bit of this,
Yeah,
right?
I can review each one of these games in 10 words or less.
Please do.
Ooh.
All right. Castlevania, perfect game. Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. Too difficult, too obscure, skip it, or use a guide. Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse, a less perfect game, but still wonderful.
Technically awesome.
Super Castlevania, best bass sounds I've ever heard.
Most amazing use of Mode 7, too.
Yeah, Castlevania The Adventure, too slow to play. Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge, too slow to play. It's just also. Castlevania Bloodlines, the goriest Castlevania, really fun. And Kid Dracula, it's like a mod of Castlevania with a Dracula child.
Well, it's more Mega Man. I mean,
That's what I was saying. I was shouting that in the office a lot today.
Sam
like
was
Mega
playing
Man.
this next to my
shoot-
desk all day.
You shoot little pellets. You're a cute little guy.
It's
totally Mega Man or Goemon inspired.
Watching it felt like they were making a Goemon game, and they're like, let's just make him
So
a
which one
vampire.
of that is the best, Sam?
Castlevania.
Well, okay, so here's the question I would have. For someone who's just buying this and maybe never played any of these games, which are the first two you'd tell them to play? Because obviously Castlevania is number one, right?
I would say you could even start with 3.
Okay.
It has multiple characters and it's very accessible, and you kind of learn what you're supposed to do in the game.
Oh, okay.
And then
And
go back to one.
Super just has awesome art
Super
and
is
effects.
equally accessible and everything. Your character's too big in it, so it's
that's
hard
true.
to kind of wrap your mind around the platforming, and it just feels a little awkward. But so it's like that's a good Castlevania game, but it's not like why people played the Twitch super good
Right.
platformy Castlevania games.
But the music is fantastic.
Like one is
in
like
that.
so accessible and
Yeah.
perfect, and the music in that game is great, and
Yeah.
just the art. These games are works of art. Every single scene is painted pixel by pixel to be unique and interesting. No Nintendo games did that. You see Super Mario Brothers games, and they just cycle that background through the whole level. Right?
Was it in 3 where you walk in front of the destroyed village, like the rundown village, and then you descend and you actually get closer to the buildings?
yeah.
and
Or in
they
one-
really thought about the geography. It's really well done.
Yeah, and one you cross the bridge and you see this clock tower in the distance, like dripping with like moss and cobwebs and stuff. Like that's the end of the game.
Yeah.
Like you're slowly working towards it. It gets bigger and bigger, and it's amazing. Like I don't know how that game was accomplished when it was. It's so good.
Yep.
Not quite as old as that, but we did have quite a re-release week in terms of releases. Resident Evil 4 and the Resident Evil Origins collections contained Resident Evil and Resident Evil 0. All came out on the 21st They all came out on the 21st. They're each individually $30, or you can buy the Origins collections for $60, which isn't
Isn't
a
that
deal?
just 30 plus 30?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that
We'll
one.
have,
But,
to, we'll have to double check that.
What
one.
a
get all
great
those.
deal.
and
Maybe,
also,
maybe it saves space on your app screen.
Also, Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered came out on the 21st for $40. I know. Are any of you guys playing Resident Evil? I know Brian has been playing Resident Evil 4 on Switch.
I played 4 last year for the first time. I slept on it for so long, and do not sleep on 4. It is
So
so
good.
Yeah.
One
good.
of the best games ever made.
Ever.
I mean, you'll probably be annoyed by the fact that when you're aiming your gun, you have to stop. Right? That's kind of like the games were deliberately more slowly paced so that you would, when you're trying to fight somebody off, you can't run away or strafe.
Well,
or,
it was a GameCube controller thing
Yep.
too, just like Metroid Prime, right?
That's
It's like
right.
It didn't have dual analog sticks in the same way we know them to be now.
But they did that on purpose too, right? They want you to run out of ammo and get bitten in the head. But
use the turnaround button. It helps.
RE4 is notable for the fact that it's so varied. Like there's an entire kind of like open a village hub that you can explore and
minecart
defend
level.
yourself. There's a level. There's so many different gameplay styles.
I
in
remember
it.
Matt Casamassina's review of this. It's still like I still think of his words today because he talked about how you start in a village and it's kind of hub-like, and then all of a sudden you're in mines, and then you're in a castle, then you're in a mansion, then you're in this underground scary
jet
place, and
ski.
then you're in a war zone with things exploding, and like it's like then you're on an island. It's like how did you get from place to place? It's like when you see Ghosts and Goblins, the old game, you see the map and it's like all the places you go through, and then you're in the castle in the end. It's like it's such a cool feeling to work through that game.
And then RE the remake is just a fantastic game from kind of like from an art perspective, and a rare example of somebody revisiting old source material, editing it, and adding new things that are actually good. Like they added more menace to it, more things following you around, and especially as a returning player, it really messed with you. Which was so
But
cool.
it has
thought you knew
tank
everything.
control.
It does have tank controls.
I've never liked tank control. I'm sorry, but I tried to play that when it came out on the GameCube. I could not do it.
You'll get used to it after
don't wanna
like
get
30
used to it.
minutes.
It must have
It's
been-
so good though.
It must have been cool playing Resident Evil 4. Did you play it before or after 2?
Before.
Because you did the whole guide for 2, so you
Yeah.
were very prepared for it.
Yes.
If you played 2 and want another game to play, like 4 is the only other one. Like that's the other game.
Revelations are okay, but nowhere near as good as
Do
4.
not tell people to play Revelations.
Revelations 2 I had fun with.
No. You can say 5 and I'll back you up.
Wow.
Revelations. Ugh.
And then Assassin's Creed 3, I love the concept behind the game and the setting in America and all that, but that's my least favorite one.
It is
It's a
the
rough
one I
one.
hate finished.
You hate finished it
I
because
bought
you
it.
started
It was a launch Wii U title, and
Yeah.
I
Oh,
bought
yeah, I
it
forgot about
for the Wii U when it launched, and I was like halfway through, I'm just like, why isn't this game ending? Why do these people suck?
Yeah.
I want to go back to playing the bad guy at the beginning. That was so much more fun.
And
So
then
I
they did that.
I just kept going through all. I streamed through all the story. just to get to the end. I won't spoil the ending, but it's so. The ending mission is just so dumb. I'm just like, what happened?
If you liked, what was the one where you do play the bad guy?
That was the one. No, it was the one they built off
Black.
for. It was Rogue.
Yeah,
I thought
Rogue.
you were just this character's family in 4.
No, so Rogue and Black Flag are the games that basically came out of 3, right? 3 was the test bed
For naval
both
warfare.
of those
Okay, you're right.
games.
So Rogue is the one we were specifically the.
Because
Yeah.
3 introduced ship combat, and then
Yes.
Black Flag just ran with it. And
Yes.
3 introduced this idea of, like, what if you played as a Templar? And then Rogue just ran with it.
Yeah, Rogue
I
also
appreciate-
has the ship stuff like the whaling and all that.
I appreciate 3 for what it did for other games. I think it's
Yeah,
not a terrible
but
game, but it's definitely rough.
It set up the best Assassin's Creed in the series, which is Black Flag.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Followed by
Agreed.
Odyssey, followed by Origins.
Yep.
It was
by
That's the
2.
order. That's the order.
But it's still like I consider the Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and 3 like the original trilogy of like Desmond's
Right.
story, and that went out with a whimper. Like
Yeah.
they just realized where do we go with this crazy
The story
and
doesn't
they
work.
just
The
didn't.
modern time stuff is silly, but
Yeah.
the games are really good. And 3 is worth a look if you're totally into the series, but it is far from the best one.
I remember it being pretty, but there's no way 10 years on that it's pretty anymore.
Yeah.
And then
it's just dated.
in newer games, Team Sonic Racing came out on the 21st as well for $40.
That is good.
Yeah, and people are enjoying it, which is
So
great
I
to see.
have heard I haven't been able to verify, but people are saying that compared to the PS4, it runs at 30 FPS.
It does.
Yes, the
which
Switchport is a little bit slower.
is bad for racing games.
It's a bummer for sure, but
Mm-hmm.
one to at least know is not terrible. It's just so funny on the Switch when you have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's hard to recommend another.
You kids are so spoiled nowadays. Diddy Kong Racing ran at like 9.5 frames per second.
I did enjoy that game.
Yeah.
I'd also like to talk a little bit about just generally if anybody's got anything they've been playing lately that they're excited about. But I think people that follow me on Twitter will be mad at me if I don't talk about Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
So you're playing that right now?
Finally.
Yeah. Okay.
I was craving a JRPG, and I put out a poll asking people if I should play Final Fantasy 12, Tales of Vesperia, or Xenoblade, and Xenoblade won pretty handily. And so I finally pulled the trigger on it. I bought myself the passes, the $100 passes,
Okay.
so I can bank one for some of these other games that are coming out later. And yeah, I'm about 3 hours in and really enjoying it. It's really, really cool. The cutscenes rule, the voice acting rules. I love the entire idea.
Can
of
I say one
being
thing?
a cloud pirate salvaging person.
So I didn't play it. I watched a friend stream it, and I have to say the best thing ever that I've seen was that they subvert your expectations by having an anime cat girl have a Welsh accent,
She does, I
and
think.
that's amazing. And I think that's so cool.
All the accents are in general are just like they're a little bit different and they're pretty dang cool.
Yeah.
I'm just very into the game. The cutscenes, there are moments on the train where I'll just put down my Joy-Con and just like watch like an anime because they're really, really well animated. And the combat is. Everyone was warning me that it gets super complex and confusing and you'll have to push through it. And I was like, this is fine. It's simple enough.
Till an hour 3.
And then it just like clicked and I was like, oh man, this is really weird and complex.
I'm surprised you didn't put Dragon Quest on your poll, the newest Dragon Quest.
I've tried Dragon Quest XI and I
you
do
have?
not
Okay.
like it. It's just not for me. And I respect the people who do. Just not quite what I'm into.
So I'm playing mostly games on other platforms right now, but I did stick with Crystal Crisis. I talked about it a little bit last week, which is kind of a take on Puzzle Quest, a match for a puzzle game that you can play 2-player versus, and it's really fun. It makes me angry to play against Justin Davis, but I will keep on playing this. It's got awesome characters to unlock that I don't think we can still talk about. And then I'm about to start on 39 Days to Mars, which you recommended to play.
Yeah, I do. 39 Days of Mars is a game I played when it came out on Steam
Yeah.
a year or two ago. It's it'll take you 2 hours at the most to beat.
Oh, okay. It's that short.
Very short, little co-op game that you can play single player also, but you can play the entire game 2-player.
It starts off says recommended you play this as co-op.
Yeah, and it's easy enough to do that too, especially on Switch. I haven't played the Switch version specifically, and it is a little bit pricey for such a short game for some people. I think it's $15, which is, for a very, very brief game, not, that's a little bit on the higher side. But if you like cute little weird co-op games and you have, you're in a position where that's not too much money to you, I'd check it out for sure.
Yeah, but I'm honestly, it's kind of a slow period for new game releases. There
Yeah.
isn't a ton out. across all the different platforms. So I've been meaning to catch up on a whole bunch of stuff. OTTD, I've been playing a little bit off, and then Project Nimbus is the mech game. I talked a little bit about it last week.
Yeah.
That I want to spend some quality time with. And then I'm still not done with Mario plus Rabbids. That was the one I never finished, and I'm going back to.
Oh, nice.
good.
But now I'm
That's
kind
good.
of like you talking about Xenoblade.
Xenoblade
I should
Chronicles
stick
is-
with one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna hit a wall with that game, and I've had
Mm-hmm.
enough people already tell me, and thank you for telling me this, everybody, that that's gonna happen, and you just got to push through it. And
Yeah.
honestly, the fact that it's on Switch helps with that, because you can just play it on the train and not worry about it. Because what else are you gonna do?
Yep.
Anybody else got anything burning they'd like to talk about?
Not on Nintendo, unfortunately. And Parasite shouldn't talk about that. So
Well, you said you're playing Shadow of War. That's the game. Funny, my copy at home went missing, so kind of.
it's on Steam.
He's also playing Rage 2.
Does it say PS?
I don't want to admit that fact.
Okay.
Yeah,
Rage looks fun.
Yeah,
Eh.
Rage 2
Yeah.
also.
It's,
Yeah.
I like
Brendan
Rage more
hates
than
it.
you. Yeah, but I think it's
Hate is a strong word. I'm just
That you
impressively
used.
bored by it.
I think it is Potato Chips, the video game. It's just snacky. And
It's
fun.
vanilla potato
That's cool.
chips or salt. I'm sorry,
God.
salt. Vanilla mean like
Sounds so bad.
vanilla mean like.
Why
plain.
does that sound so bad?
It does sound bad.
And I just wanted to back up Tom on his Yoshi review. I finally got through most of that game. I'm trying to 100% it, and I think it's totally worth everybody. It's
really fun,
It's
yeah.
beautiful and fun.
Yeah.
It's the only Yoshi game I've liked after Yoshi's Island, basically.
Should I buy Team Sonic Racing?
Nah.
There's
No?
actually a question about that. Well, let's move into question block.
I'll do it.
A great little game that, let's see, where was it? Aha! David Barber on Facebook says, when Nintendo can make easy characters for hard games such as Funky Kong and Tropical Freeze and Toadette in New Super Mario Deluxe, should they also add in hard characters for games like Yoshi and Kirby? So things with like less health, shorter timers when applicable, and worse jumps, just to give people more
Worst
options.
jumps. Don't do that ever.
Because I still to this day love Super Mario World 2, and it's probably the only Yoshi game worth playing.
It
That's
is,
what he
yeah.
says.
So that actually reminds me, if you use the Ganondorf amiibo in Twilight Princess HD, you took double damage.
There you go. That's actually a good
That was
example
the
of
hard
it.
mode. So
And Yoshi's Crafted World kind of does this, where if you just don't wear a costume, the game is
yep,
pretty hard.
significantly harder.
But for me, it's easier to platform without the costume because I hate looking at them and it's like confusing.
Like
but
the
like
trash
in-
can?
Because they're all like giant.
Yeah, they are very big.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting for like a game like New Super Mario Brothers to have one of the player characters who's
Be a wimp.
got some sort of handicap, but it's tough to balance that, you know.
yeah. But I feel like, you could use amiibo in that way of just like make a hard mode or give you less life.
Like
or
Ganondorf is always the hard mode.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
be the Ganondorf
I like
hard mode.
that. Yep.
I like when the characters have like a trade off. Like maybe they can float for a little bit, but they die in one hit. You know, like stuff like that.
I just love the idea that Nintendo will never puts difficulty selections in any of their games. They put weird alternate characters that are just worse or better.
I mean, I still think Funky Kong should be in every video game. Every game should have a funky mode.
And he can't you can't ever get hurt by spikes, yeah.
Speaking of the Ganondorf amiibo, Sarah Hollins asks, do you think we'll see any cool new amiibo announced at E3 this year?
100%.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Any
can't wait to see 'em.
predictions?
I,
mean, we gotta
hope
get the
not.
Full
I
Animal
hope
Crossing line.
I hope
Joker.
not. Obviously, you're going to get something from Link's Awakening.
Yeah,
It's
like
gonna look really
in that
good.
style.
Oh,
they
that would
made
be
is so
nice.
perfect.
I
for
think they'll
toys,
have
right?
something for every one of their titles. Pokemon Sword and Shield 2, whatever new hot Pokemon they'll reveal. What were the other games that they showed?
Luigi's
Luigi
Mansion.
Mansion.
We haven't had Luigi with a vacuum cleaner yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually a really
Right?
good point.
Yep.
Oh man,
So.
I'm just looking forward to that second line of Animal Crossing.
And then there will be 500 Fire Emblem characters as usual, and all of them will be in Smash Brothers.
A quick email question that I just want to set the record straight here. Matt emailed us at nvc@ign.com, says, my name's Matt and I've been listening for a while and enjoy it every week. Last week you guys had a conversation about which Smash Bros character would win in a bout of fisticuffs. You guys decided on Donkey Kong as one of the victors over Little Mac. Well, in 2009's Punch-Out for Wii, Donkey Kong appears as a secret boss to be beaten. Given that Little Mac has canonically beaten Donkey Kong, does this switch out those two characters for your option, or does this change things completely? Thanks for all that you do. Thanks for helping me get the thing every week.
I would say that Donkey Kong wins that bout more often than he loses it.
I think that's a great point. And the point I made, because somebody brought this up in the YouTube comments, and I fought very vehemently against it. A, Little Mac's always going to win in his own game. Fight him in Smash Bros. That's even turf, right?
Yep,
That's
yep.
no
Yeah.
home field advantage. And B, they put gloves on Donkey Kong.
Oh,
Take off the gloves. Donkey
that's
Kong, no
right.
contest.
Yep. Okay.
That's my money.
We got it settled.
All right.
Sorry, Matt.
Anyway, we did have a wizard question, but he didn't have time to ask it because we ran out of time. But thank you very much for joining us, everybody. This has been NVC. You can find us every Thursday at 3 p.m., basically anywhere where you can find podcasts,
That's right.
including on IGN.com. You can also email us, as I said, nvc@ign.com. You can message any of us on Twitter at the places that are on the screen right now. If you're listening on the podcast, I'm at Tom R. Marks. Sam?
At Samuel IGN.
Brendan?
At Raga_Fraga.
And Pear?
At Pair IGN.
And thank you very much for watching. Remember, NVC is the only place where you can
Get the thing. Also, Patrick Swayze in Ghost was a good ghost.
I don't know about that. I think you need to rewatch that.
I'm ending this right now.